It's wonderful to be able to welcome Abhishek Pandey, who is leading machine learning at Abbvie. Love to hear more about what you're doing at Abbvie.
Yeah, so I lead the machine learning team here in Abbvie. So it's my team is essentially one centralized team for you can call all of Abbvie. We are focusing on AI-based drug discovery. And now AI-based drug discovery can be small molecule or large molecule. We have people doing on both sides of the aisle. And also normally drug discovery can be divided into three different pillars, right? You have the target, you have the molecule, and then you have the patient. We have people working on all three different pillars as well, if you say about it. So that's what my team does in Abbvie, and happy to be here.
Yeah, no, super important work. Making sure that you're putting the right research into making sure we're getting the appropriate medication and improving that medication, of course. But today's conference or the digital symposium is all around talking more around how AI is impacting the search for cures and drug discovery. And we'd love to get your perspective of how you're seeing AI transforming that drug discovery process, maybe in the next sort of 5 to 10 years, and what sort of advancements are currently happening that's reshaping the industry, which I'm sure there's not a shortage of.
Well, first of all, to improve any problem, you have to agree there is a problem. So there is a very acute problem that drug discovery industry actually faces. So just to tell this, I was one of the founding machine learning scientists at Tempus AI, which is now called. I do not exactly belong to the chemistry side of things or biology side of things. I mostly belong to more of machine learning side of things, which essentially is what brought me into this. Is the problem of drug discovery is very fascinating. It's probably one of the most challenging problems that I have ever seen in my life. Drug discovery, if you talk about business problem, it's very costly. It's like $3 to $4 billion a single drug to market. It's very time taking. It's around like 16 years for a single drug to come to market. And then at the same time, actually, it's not so successful as well. Only 1 in 10 make it from phase 1 to actual drug. So the potential of AI is to actually impact all three different pillars: speed, cost, and de-risking the process and making it more successful as well. Now, let's just say that's the future. The immediate impact of machine learning or AI in drug discovery, which you guys must be experiencing. If you're not, you should work for it for sure, because there is a lot of advantage of it. Is, for example, like property predictions. Designing a molecule which essentially should have all the right properties is a very important task, actually. And AI, given that there is a lot of data available out there, also you should have some internal data internally as well. There are really good ways you can actually make models that can predict properties and make it like really impactful when designing the molecule, because you won't like to design a molecule which will have not the good amount of clearance or anything like that. So I think de novo design of molecules, can machine learning, so this same property predictor, can you put it inside a generative model and say that I would design a molecule with only the right properties from the get-go? All of these are reality. This is not science fiction anymore. This is all that people are doing. We are doing, and I'm pretty sure everybody else should be doing if they're not already doing. Now, there is a common critique to AI-based drug discovery is that, but there is no drug that has come out from AI yet. I just told you it takes around 15, 16 years for a drug to come to market. When was the first time when deep learning came into existence? 2011, 12, around that. That's the Nobel Prize that people got this time, right? So it's going to take some time, actually, and the drug discovery or ML, AI ML in drug discovery world is even more newer. It's like story of last 4 or 5 years, probably not more older than that actually. So there are drugs in clinical phase, early phase, late phase, all of that, but definitely I'm pretty sure some of them will come out as well.
Yeah, you bring up some really excellent points, and one of them being, how long it takes, of course, in terms of in terms of the process of, the discovery and also development, and of course AI has the potential to, drastically speed that up. But how can the technology help, to reduce the time and cost associated with bringing these new cures and medications to the market?
Yeah. So for that, you have to go into how drug discovery was done till now. So most of it was pretty lab based, pretty wet lab based, and pretty manual in the sense that um, a biologist in the academic lab actually did a research where they tested out on mouse or whatnot, whatever their organism may be, that a particular gene is correlated to a particular disease, and that's what they take it as their target. So that's the starting of your drug discovery, that you have identified a target that will alter the course of disease. Um, this process can be made into an AI process. Actually, there are AI algorithms that can come up with targets. The AI first companies are actually using that as a method to actually come up with new targets. But if you choose the old method, which is still, as I said, is a traditional method or a manual method where you read all the papers and then essentially decide which of these targets are the most prominent one. In a very similarish way, then once the target is decided, there are people who will identify the pockets and then how many pockets exist, what's the size of pockets and stuff like that, and then they'll try to fit in a molecule into that pocket. It's very much like a Lego block puzzle actually, and then the molecule should have all the right properties. So the chemist knows which part of the molecule has what kind of properties and stuff like that. And they'll keep experimenting in an iterative process in wet lab to get to that process. But there are algorithms that can come up with molecules, as I just described some time back, which essentially will have all the right properties from the get-go. So the idea is that the DMTA cycle, design, make, test, and analyze, you can actually just change this potentially into design, test, analyze in a feedback loop, and then you make at the very end, which is when it goes to a wet lab. That's the true place where we should be going.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sticking with your point to looking at things at a molecular level, what's sort of AI's ability to analyze sort of larger data sets and getting us a better, improved understanding of diseases, especially at that molecular level, and how that leads to more effective treatments?
Yeah, this is actually a very good question. In general, for multiple reasons, there is a very funny thing to it as well, which is most of the blockbuster drug has been discovered by accident. And if not by accident, the indication that they are most sold for is accident. Uh, so the reason for it is that we do not exactly understand the potential mechanism of action for a lot of the molecules that exist out there as drug. Um, there is an inherent process that is wrong with that we have not been able to fix, which is we live in a paradigm of one target, one molecule, one disease. No disease is that simple, that you just choose one single gene, you make a molecule out of it, and then you'll be able to cure the disease. It's not that simple. That's the reason why we throw a kitchen sink to cancer. We try a combination therapies and stuff like that, along with immunotherapy and whatever drug is there in market. So I think the true science has to progress there, of course. We have to get from one target, one molecule, one disease to multi relationship between multiple targets, multiple molecules all coming together. But before that, actually, what we can do is design take these large data sets that we have access, or we can generate at very high throughput. One of the best example of it is maybe like what Chan Zuckerberg Foundation is doing, which is designing virtual cells where we can do experiment in a digital sense. And that could be a surrogate to actually doing some of the wet lab experiments that we are doing. The good thing about this is that once a molecule has been designed, you can test them out on those virtual cell, virtual tissues leading to virtual human, that essentially you will be able to say that molecule has yet not been made. There is no money invested till now in terms of wet lab experimentation. And you can right now say that this particular molecule is going to work on a patient with this kind of biomarker happening in that. We are not there yet, but we have to get there yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Abhishek, thanks so much for sharing your insights with us and the great work that you're doing with Abbvie. Super important work to make sure that we're using technology to be able to speed up the way that drug discovery is going, and that we're making sure that we're having some real focus in the way that these medications are being put out to treat the population. But thanks so much for coming on, Abhishek. I wish we had more time to talk with you, but I'm sure some of the folks on the audience today will reach out to you and hopefully continue this conversation with you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much.